Hey guys, welcome to the first official YouTube Fashion Rewind 2019, sponsored by Squarespace. I'm your host, Frugal Ass, and with me my co-host, Good Content. Oh wait, he's not here. So in this video, we're going to be discussing the best of the best and the worst of the worst in fashion for this trip around the sun, and sometimes they're the same thing. Actually, all the time, they're the same thing. Okay, the way this is set up is I broke it down into 5 categories. 5 of which I really tried my best to make fairly notable and praiseworthy, but most importantly, cancel-free. Can't wait to see those K-pop dance choreo gifs accompanied with some Xbox game chat fighting words pop up in my comments after I say something stupid. So to avoid all of that, we're gonna make it clear now, this is all my opinion. And if you don't like it, then save your K-pop dancing gifs for someone else because I have bad service and I'm probably not gonna be able to see them anyways. But the 5 categories I picked are gonna be the biggest trend, the hottest brand, the dankest fashion meme, most popular cool piece, and the coolest collab. So without further ado, let's get on with the first category, and that's gonna be the biggest trend. The biggest, the thickest, the biggest. It's only the biggest trend. So I'm gonna just run through the guidelines of each award when we get to them. So the biggest trend is gonna be defined as the style, aesthetic, or look that had the biggest following or influence on modern street style for this year. Yeah, I made that up, but it sounds official, so we're rolling with it. So the official, unofficial, official candidates for this year's award are vintage/chillwave, techwear/cyberpunk, and preppy punk /not grunge but kind of grunge but not really grunge but not grunge aesthetic. All 3 have played a major role in what's happening both at the most basic level of streetwear to design inspirations for big-time luxury fashion houses, and most definitely on what people are rocking on their day-to-day. I've been seeing a lot of vintage lately. Not just actual vintage stuff, but a lot of vintage cuts, colorways, and even retro-inspired graphics in almost every streetwear brand at this point. A lot of the most current oversized stuff plays homage to the cuts that were standard back in the 80s and 90s, so you can see the influence in even just that. Dad jeans aren't as big as they were the last couple years, but cropped trousers now are bigger than ever, and not to say that it's vintage, but I think a lot of them play into the vintage look. And on top of all of that, I think being broke is probably the biggest thing that came out of 2019, and thrifting/vintage surfing online has probably been the best and most accessible way for everyone to get dope clothes because it's cheap. What used to be a quirky little side hobby is now a lot of people's main source of finding tasteful clothes, and I think that movement is what's best for fashion in terms of creative individuality. So I think vintage and playing it casual was definitely a major factor in 2019, but also I see more people breaking out of their shell than ever. A hard alt way I've seen people expressing the interest for non-conforming fashion is through techwear and that cyberpunk aesthetic. Though techwear, quote, is such a heavily gatekept sect of fashion, I feel the fundamentals of the cult-like genre can be found all throughout every form of athletic or sporty-inspired clothes. A lot of brands have sects dedicated to this art style like Adidas Y3, Nike ACG, and Stone Island Shadow Project. At this point, you'll be able to find pieces to fit your up-and-coming cyberpunk wardrobe anywhere from big brands like Uniqlo hosting essentials that play in key with the look to hundreds of underground startups that really create this middle-class playing field for an otherwise unaffordable hobby. I think that techwear and cyberpunk has really made a name for itself in fashion this year. But not only within clothing, I feel like the cyberpunk aesthetic has also really bloomed into other sects of pop culture, and that could also be why it's such a titan of influence in fashion. But there are 3 candidates. Like I said, you got the super chill oldest child, cultured, laid back, does his thing. You got the wild youngest child, new, fresh perspective, rebellious in its own sense, and middle child, identity crisis, weird and oddly unique. Last candidate, we got the preppy punk grunge, but not grunge, but kind of grunge, but it's not grunge, but it's actually not grunge. For the sake of the video and the length, I'm gonna call it the e-boy look because let's be honest, we're all thinking the same thing anyways. This look exploded over the course of the year through TikTok and Instagram explore page fashion, pulling style inspos from almost all corners of the fashion world. It's really just a culmination of everything alternative. Though it carries this TikTok faux emo stigma, it's undeniably one of the biggest fashion fads ever. Definitely the heel of this category, but I feel like it was an example of something that got too big and oversaturated that people hate it by default. So now to decide who gets the UA award for the biggest fashion trend of 2019, drum roll. You hate to see it, but I gotta give it to the e-boy trend. God damn it! Oh God, I can see the K-pop gifs. Okay, let's justify this. Though the techwear cyberpunk movement is probably the most creative and innovative trend, I'm on board with that. And the vintage chill wave has probably the most diverse and useful average day-to-day. The e-boy trend was definitely the biggest thing to come out of 2019, whether we like it or not. And trust me, I don't like it either. But we have to be honest with ourselves here, guys. We have to stop lying to ourselves, because how are we gonna be happy when we're lying? This is like when Cardi B beat out Mac Miller at the Grammys that one year and everyone was mad. But like I said, the best is the best and also the worst is the worst. Next category, we got the hottest brand. For this bad boy, the conditions are the brand that left the biggest footprint on the state of fashion in 2019. So this is probably gonna be the hardest one to not trigger everybody, because how the hell am I supposed to measure that outside of stock value or whatever? But I'm gonna try my best to get fair points. So the 3 contenders for this unofficial authentic award are Nike, Uniqlo, and Off-White. So Nike is such a big influence on the world in general that it's hard to disregard, but also it's too general of a choice. It's too easy. It's like saying the iPhone is the phone of the year. But I'm gonna include them. Nike has done some cool stuff this year though, with all the collabs with other brands and even artists. And I think that generally speaking, their design team has been killing it with things that cater to the masses and things that hit a target niche. And I think the influence on street style outside of athleisure has been massive this year too, so you really can't push them aside. Uniqlo, on the other hand, is one of those brands that's not necessarily the most groundbreaking, but definitely well-respected in the community, really making quality essentials for all sorts of looks with their mainline stuff, but also always sparking buzz with their rapid-fire collaborations with artists and pop culture. And with everyone's wardrobes and most importantly, wallets siding with Uniqlo, it's definitely a no-brainer to include as one of the hottest brands of the year. And lastly, we got Off-White, who's always been a big player since their debut in 2012, another brand who's just too easy of a candidate, but also not undeserving, going back and forth from tacky to tasteful and repeat. I think now it's at a point of holding its ground in the middle between street and high street. With Virgil making moves in the world of luxury, I feel Off-White's influence has stretched to be more than just another screen printed tee, and it's showing. So with that being said, who's taking home the hottest brand of 2019? You hate to see it. Probably gonna be Off-White. No! Definitely more of an independent brand type of person, but you can't deny Off-White's effect on basically every sect of fashion at this point. So the unofficial, authentic, hottest brand of 2019, official, unofficial, Off-White. But yeah, this is getting way too serious. I feel like I'm the Anthony Fantano of fashion right now. So it's time for the fun part of the ceremony. It's time for the Dankest Fashion Memes 2019. This category is awarded to the most popular meme that the community took part in this year. All right, 2019, great year for fashion memes, and actually great year for memes in general. Solid, but even though there were a million different kinds of memes that easily translated with streetwear, we gotta give it to the king. There's not even a competition. It's gotta be Black Air Force activity, baby. I don't wanna get shot, so nobody even stood a chance. And everyone that did is now dead. See what I mean? So easy. So easy to meme. Low-hanging fruit. Super low-hanging fruit. Everyone hopped on it. Made Black Air Force Ones the hottest selling shoe of that quarter, which is crazy. Easily the dankest, most impactful meme of 2019 for fashion, no doubt. And I think we can all agree on this. There's, K-pop GIFs today, boys. I got the Black Air Force. The only thing more dangerous than seeing K-pop GIFs on your timeline is Black Air Force Ones. Hell yeah, baby, let's go. Some runner-ups to me were like supersizing everything. I thought this was hilarious for whatever reason. Shouts out to It's May's memes. And even starter packs, like this is still funny. Crap like this. Coming up next, we got the most popular new item of 2019. And the conditions for this award are gonna be the single new item or article of clothing that was the most popular amongst the general public. An example for it being, one year it was the Off-White belt, another year it was the Ultra Boost. This year my candidates are dangling earrings, striped Guess t-shirt, and shoulder bag. The Holy Trinity if Jesus were 5'6" and lived on Melrose. Dangling earrings. I feel like they're big now more than ever with the whole K-pop craze. And on top of that, rampant e-boy trend, biting lips, dangling earrings, you know the drill. Striped Guess t-shirt. The uniform of the short kings out here putting in the work. Definitely a part of that vintage wave that kind of cut its own path and went all the way down to Fairfax. I feel this is the new Diamond Supply Co. t-shirt. And shoulder bags, which again are a byproduct of the rise of accessories. Big fan, as I rock one myself sometimes, keep all kinds of things in there, but that's a totally different video that I'm never gonna make. But of the 3 freshmen, I'm gonna have to roll with the striped Guess tee. Everyone wore them. They still do. I'm getting tired of guessing. Guess t-shirt. Wow. K-pop gifs in the comments. And the last award of the night's gonna be the coolest collab of 2019. And the guidelines for this award are whatever collab makes me go, yo, that's crazy, the most. Like this collab from a couple years back. Yo, that's crazy. Or this, the Dior Jordan collab. Yo. So the candidates for this official unofficial award are Nike and Sacai, Jordan Brand and Travis Scott, Off-White and Nike SB. Okay, so Nike definitely killed it with the shoes this year. I don't even know of anything else that kind of made me turn my eyes as much. Definitely the Easy Boost RuneScape Lumbridge collab, dude. That's probably the sickest one, but I can't put it on this list because I gotta be fair. But the first one, Nike and Sacai. I thought this was the coolest, most innovative thing I've ever seen on a shoe when this came out. Like, this was crazy. I didn't even think this was gonna come out. I thought this was one of those like, oh, it's a concept piece. But it definitely set a new bar on what collabs should be like. Big fan of the waffle and the blazer. The Jordan Travis Scott bunch we've been getting has been refreshing in its own way. You know, it's the first time I've seen any sort of hype for Jordan 1 lows ever. Probably the biggest non-athlete collab of all time too, next to Kanye. And the Off-White Dunks have been ravaging the internet since they were hinted a while back. Also, crazy looking shoe here too, really taking that classic for a ride. All three are really well deserving in their own light, but we gotta do the test. All right, let's do this. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. Yup, Nike and Sacai. That's gonna be the coolest collab of 2019. Well-deserved, killer concept, killer execution. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. And on that note, here are your winners for the the Annual Fashion Rewind 2019, sponsored by Squarespace. Biggest trend goes to the e-boy aesthetic. You hate to see it. Hottest brand goes to Off-White. You hate to see it. Dankest fashion meme. Dankest fashion meme goes to Black Air Force activity. You hate to see it. Most popular new piece goes to Guess striped t-shirt. You hate. Coolest collab, Nike and Sacai. Hope 2019 did you well, and if not, that sucks. And make sure 2020 doesn't do you dirty either. Get your ass up and make some moves. One of the biggest plans I have for 2020 is to really take the Respect Women clothing brand to the next level. And to start off, I'm going to be totally overhauling the website. And to do this, I'm partnering with a sponsor of this video, Squarespace. And I also have to be kind of quiet because my friend is sleeping over and he just fell asleep crying because he's sad. And like, I don't want to wake him up because I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to be kind of quiet. I personally have no idea about anything in web design or code, but what I do have is a vision. 2020 vision. I have to be quiet. And with how easy Squarespace makes it to build your fully functional website, that's really all you need now. They have an insane amount of designer templates to choose from to really customize the site to fit your idea. And for all of you with clothing brand ideas, which I know a lot of you are just sitting on, stop being so lazy. 2020 is coming up, man. You better get moving before streetwear dies. Like Virgil Abloh said. But for all of you that actually want to make things happen, Squarespace has a great e-commerce integration so that you can run everything online. So if you want to try everything out, it's real easy. Just go to squarespace.com/frugalaesthetic for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. The decade has come to an end and it's time to make this next one great. I also have to be quiet. Get things moving and build your website now at squarespace.com/frugalaesthetic. Bam! Just like that. 2020, last video of the decade. Bam! 2019 is wrapped. I stopped caring about my friend sleeping. I'm just gonna keep going. 2019 is wrapped up. Real quick, I just want to thank you guys for giving me the best year of my life. Honestly, that was crazy. Yo, that's crazy. Anyone can dream about a life they want for themselves, but I'm forever grateful that you guys actually helped me live mine. It's nuts. It's insane what you can do for a living with the support of others. Like, there are people out here changing lives, or there are people out here, there are 10-year-olds out here changing the world. And here I am changing clothes or whatever, but hey, different strokes for different folks, people. Regardless, I'm thankful for all of you, and I hope 2020 brings you as much life as y'all bring me, because without you guys, I wouldn't have sponsored this opportunity. So thank you for 2019 and cheers to another trip around the sun. Let's make 2020 crazy. Yo, that's crazy.